Paschall. I am Slaggy or Slaggy on Twitch, going under the account name Sparklehorse on lichess. You can also check out my videos on YouTube. Video Chess Training is the name of my channel on YouTube. So guys, we've got a number of challenges. We're going to be playing blitz and classical chess here, as well as maybe a couple of chess 960. If somebody wants to play chess 960, that's also possible. I've got 4 challenges. I want to welcome everyone, welcome our subscribers. Encourage you guys to subscribe to the channel already. Brundle Phillies here, and I'm expecting some other subscribers. So we're battling the lawnmower sound outside, like very distantly. You might hear a lawnmower, but I don't think so. I think the mic doesn't pick up that outside stuff as much. It's just I'm hearing it from the outside. So I think we're good to go. Let me know the sound is alright. Let's see if the stream is up and running. I've got lichess.org. Last time I forgot to put .org in the stream title, and it took me a while to get the stream up and running, on at least to be noticed on lichess. Sometimes I forget. Alright, let me turn the sound down on my other machine because that's another issue. So guys, we're accepting challenges between 5+3 and 8+3. Lately, pretty much everybody challenges me to 8+3, which is okay. It just makes it like that I, probably play like 8 or 9 games per stream. If anybody wants to play 5+3, 5+5, 6+5, all those time controls are permitted as well. So you don't have to challenge me to our maximum, our longest time control, which is 8+3. It's not mandatory. You can do anything from 5+3, 5+4, 5+5, 6+3, whatever you want up until 8+3. So it's not mandatory that all the games have to be the longest time control. Troll in a roll challenging 6+5. Slaggy Son from Uganda. It has, wow, I've got a tribute account here. 47 games. 77. Uganda. Somebody else was from Uganda. Bob. It's good to see you, Bob. Keith Erdekel from Hungary. Meowazy, who, man, he played well against me. We might have to take him on once again. He seems like a strong master, actually. Possibly from Russia, although he claimed Sweden at first. I guess we could contact the lichess mods. Yeah, I lost some rating points to this guy who might have been a cheater, so I'd like to get my points back, but if not, I'll just get them back naturally on my own. Who's Hollow 01? I don't know. Let's get started, guys. I'm going to play, let's see, Bob first, since he's our first subscriber challenging. Subscribers get preference. As I said earlier, we get, like, when we get a few challengers, subscribers, pretty much a lot of subscribers on a regular basis, I'm going to start implementing some new streams with just for subscribers features. Right now we don't have that many subscribers yet, but hopefully it will get there. Please subscribe, guys. So whoever this is, somebody clip this in. Somebody talks about me. I don't really want to know if somebody's saying something bad about me. And I think I saw this once before. It's not necessary to copy and paste, some random guy like shit talking about me, I don't really want to give them a voice, so if it's something negative, I'd rather not post it in the stream. Bishop c4. It is not that common a move, but it looks okay to me. We can play like a Sicilian type of move with c5, but I would suppose that knight b6 is probably interesting, at the very least. I think we've been there before already with this video commentary, some dude talking crap about me. I don't really care, people are gonna hate because they're haters against other people, and we can't do anything about it. So yeah, I wouldn't put it in my stream. Who put it in my stream? Troll in a roll, did you do that? Yeah, don't bother with that, man. I mean, you're practically like encouraging people to do that. Alright, so c5 now, I guess. We'll transpose. So, I've offended people in the course of my life, and therefore they hate me. But, life is filled with misunderstandings. let's see here. D3. This is basically like a kind of Alekhine's defense, as well as a Scandinavian here, Bob. Programs that are rarely used by you. I don't need this now. You dedicate this upcoming loss. Sorry. Oh, it's not you. Sorry. Let's all watch. Troll, what are you doing, man? You're really trolling today? Bishop e3, threatening to win a pawn here. I hate playing e6 and blocking my bishop in. I may not have a choice, huh? Or we could sacrifice a pawn. I just don't see the compensation with that. Yes, sir, Bob. Good move. Bishop e3, creating some issues. Should I say yes, sirree, Bob? I have to play e6 here. It's so sickening. Not what I wanted to do. Or do I? There is another line, which is pretty weird. Knight d5. Knight d5. Back to the future. Takes on d5, queen takes d5, knight c3 with tempo. And then what? Then I have to play like a move that's going to drop this pawn on c5 anyway. That is so frustrating. I could play queen f5 maybe. Queen f5. Okay, this looks risky, but let's give it a try. Yellow Dragon really wants to play me. Tried last stream. Yellow Dragon, yeah, it's not easy. We only play about 10 games per stream, and oftentimes I've got 15 or more challenges, so there are going to be a lot of cases. Please don't be salty if you don't get to accept it. If your challenge is not accepted, keep trying. Majority of the players who challenge me do get to play. Here, Bob fell for my sneaky trick. All I can say, Bob, is that, you know, when you play a decent player and they offer you something, don't take candy from strangers. Queen a5 check, but the critical variation was bishop takes d5, queen takes d5, knight c3, when we kind of have a bunch of threats we have to deal with. I was thinking about queen f5 with the idea of knight b5, queen d7. And I know that's kind of deep and sounds crazy, but it looked like black has some compensation there. So if that makes any sense to you guys, that's what I was thinking. That's how far I was thinking. Basically, takes, knight c3, queen f5. And because of queen h5, knight b5 looked like a problem. That's what I was going to do. Sacrifice a pawn for activity. This way Bob loses a piece. I hope. I have to admit, I didn't see knight c3. But I think that it doesn't really change the overall situation. Should I say, I hope it doesn't change the overall situation. Mr. Bob. The classic queen a5 check. I've won more pieces with queen a5 than any other move. Usually it's like 5-1 games in the cafe or something against beginners. Really enjoyed my stream. You should get more recognition. I mean, I'm not a really, you know, super high rated player, and you know, I don't promote myself as much as other people. I'm not really into self-promotion. I'm kind of a modest dude, so there are certain chess players who are very, very good at self-promoting themselves, and that's redundant, but not my deal. You know, I just want to have have fun and teach a lot of people how to play some good chess and make a living doing it. You know, nothing fancy. More people just prefer blitz bullet. Yeah, I mean, I think that blitz is fine, but when you get beyond like 2-0, it's becoming counterproductive. You can make an argument like, oh well, you know, Carlsen and Nakamura play bullet chess. I mean, Hikaru learned chess, you know, through playing all kinds of time controls, not only bullet. And I don't think that Carlsen's preferred time control would be like 1-0. I think bullet is overrated. You should play the longest time controls you can play. Blitz is part of learning chess. It's a very important training tool, but it's, you know, it should be played with a reasonable amount of time and I try to focus on that. So anyway, the longer games are more constructive. Chess is made to be played with thought, you know. Basically, bullet chess in many cases becomes masturbation, and that's not constructive. So I just think that, you know, trying to learn the game, especially for beginners, it's more productive to play longer time controls. If you have time, you should really, if you're one of the players out there that hasn't ever played in a chess tournament, you just learned chess online, if you have the time to do it, it's worth it to play over-the-board tournaments. I highly recommend it. I think it's essential for players to become really strong. Troll on a Roll. I hit on a subject that Troll on a Roll really appreciates. Somehow I'm not surprised. But I think that lichess promotes a little too much. Actually, I mean, the fact they created, like, what is it, hyper bullet or whatever, that's over the top. I mean, that just wasn't necessary. But anyway, you know, it's not my... If people enjoy just throwing the pieces around, you know, randomly, that's fine. You know, that's just not my thing. We only live for, like, what? You know, the average human being only lives for like 75 years or something. I really don't want to waste the remainder of my life, you know, playing 1 minute chess. I want to actually get better, if that's possible at my advanced age. I think I'm going to do that by playing constructive games, analyzing them. Look at the centipon loss of the average, like, bullet game versus the classical game, or even like a longer blitz game. The quality of the longer blitz games I can play here is quite good. C4. So Bob is hanging on. He's down a piece for basically a pawn or two, but he's hanging around. Chess is in no way constructive. Okay, man. You know what? You know, you're actually wrong. I mean, there was a lot of proof that, like, you know, chess in the schools has helped kids to improve their thinking skills. So at the very least, chess improves the brain power of kids in the schools. We can find at least one constructive, so-called constructive use for chess. Alright, let's make h6. This move will just make sure we don't get back rank mated. Try to keep it simple. Logical decision making. There was just an article in the BBC, actually like a BBC magazine online, about Malcolm Pine. He's like an old regular chess promoter and an international master from the UK. A big, beautiful write-up in BBC Online about chess in the schools in the UK, which I was amazed to see that. Okay, Bob resigned. He's just down a clear piece. I'm just going to take a quick look at most of the games. If we get, especially in the opening stage here, this is funny. Like, no one's played this. Bob's move is, like, very rare for some reason. It's a totally playable move. It looks like you're transposed to a kind of Alechine's defense. Anyway, here I played c5, which is still not transposed to, like, an Alekhine. And now knight c6, and this was an interesting move, bishop e3, hitting my pawn at c5. And there's a very similar variation in the Alechine's defense. I don't like playing e6 because it blocks in my bishop on c8. So I was looking for a better way here, and I decided to try something risky. Okay, a5 is a really cool idea. I didn't see it. But anyway, like, I played knight to d5, and now the question is, am I right? You know, am I right? And this is my variation. Bishop takes d5, queen takes d5, knight c3, and now the idea was that queen h5 I didn't like because of knight b5, and I was on the money. My analysis is on the money here. But queen d6 I also don't like because of things like knight to e4. It's kind of awkward. So I thought about queen f5, keeping c5 protected, staying, like, near the center, and being able to meet knight b5. I thought I could meet knight b5 with queen d7. and just play for tempo. So like bishop takes c5, b6. This was basically what I had intended, but in the cold light of the computer analysis, it looks like I wouldn't quite have enough compensation for the sacrificed pawn. Let's see, bishop a3, something like that. Bishop b7, I don't know. And I guess white has a little too much here. So another alternative, rook b8. Maybe I would have had to have done this. Forfeit my right to castle. Knight c7 check, king d8. Knight back to b5. That's insane. It's pretty insane, my king being here on a potentially dangerous locale. So I think I got a little bit too creative there, Bob, and you could have called my bluff by taking and playing knight c3. Okay, guys, we've got like 10 challenges. I want to thank everyone for joining, and I want to thank everyone who's subscribed. We've got a subscriber, Alcano. I'm assuming that you recently subscribed, or did you subscribe before? Because I can't remember when you subscribed, man. Alcano, are you in the list of challengers here, or are you just watching the stream? He's down there, Alcano. Challenging me to 8.0. Okay. I think he's a new. 2 weeks ago. Okay. You're supposed to challenge me to 8+3, but since you're a subscriber, I'll let you slide. It's 880. And next time we'll make it like 8+3. But Alcano. Alright, dude. Let's do it. Normally I play with increment, but I'm not going to make him re-challenge me. 8 minutes is enough. You were one of the first ones to subscribe 2 weeks ago, okay. But you haven't been on the stream since then. So we're here, guys, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 4 p.m. in the summertime now. Sundays at 5 p.m. I do a simultaneous exhibition. Let's play Nimzovich style. Nimzovich loved to play like bishop b7, give up his bishop, just control the e4 square. Now, I guess I have to play h6 once the bishop's out there on b4. We're going to kick this guy back to h4. Plan on playing g5. Maybe. What country am I in? I'm in the United States. Most of the year I live in Hungary, in Budapest, but I'm not Hungarian. I've just been a resident there for quite a long time. Here we go down like the main old line for this variation. I've had a number of games in this line. I once beat now Grandmaster Jose Garcia Gonzalez from Mexico, an old friend of mine, in this particular variation. I guess we should cash in on doubling the pawns here. So this is my game with Jose. This is actually a really well-known variation. We might have played this once on the stream. And now I'm thinking that I have probably more than one option here. I've always played f5. And that's my game with Jose. Man, it was a long time ago. The game must have been played in like 1999. I'm just wondering if you can take on g3. I mean, I think you can. But as far as I recall, it's probably slightly better for white. So I'm going to play f5. This is an older line. Your Budapest is a chess place. Nice for chess. Do you recommend going there for a chess event? Well, it's possible to play. There's some round-robin tournaments every month that are organized. The best tournament at the moment is the Spring Festival, which was organized in pretty much like central Budapest, and it was a big deal. This year I didn't play, probably a mistake. So like in I guess May, in around May, there's a good tournament, Budapest Spring Festival. If you're in Europe, I would consider playing. Budapest has had a cultural festival for many years in the spring called the Budapest Spring Festival, and this chess chess has become kind of like not directly part of the art festival itself, but it's running at the same time for many years. Okay, so now I've given up my knight, powerful knight, to double his pawns and get rid of that dark squared bishop, but white has a development lead here, and I don't know. It's not easy to evaluate this. Looks like white has better control of the center. I'm not sure I should play. I'm not sure I should play. What am I going to say here? Well, I really don't have a lot of choices. I mean, I just have to get my pieces developed in this position. This is a dangerous position for me. It may require a little bit of creative thinking. I mean, like, okay, like for example, g4, pawn takes pawn, bishop g6 check, my king goes to e7. I can leave my king in the center. I don't have to play mechanically here. Castle king side. Castling queen side, or putting my king in the center. Why are people trolling so much today? I don't know, but I've got no administrator. I've got no moderator today, that's why. Since I'm streaming in the US, I don't think we've got so many trolls actually. But we occasionally get one or two. Somebody asked me, did you ever play Josh Whiteskin? Monkey pushing wood. We've told this story before. There was a chess program called the Chess Master 2000 or whatever, and then Chess Master, and the series continued. And well, anyway, Josh Whiteskin was this chess prodigy who got close to GM, but he never made it, and he went into other stuff. I think Tai Chi or whatever, I don't know. And so now he gives like motivational speeches. Anyway, he was kind of famous because of the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer, that his father wrote the book that became this movie later on. And Josh was a chess prodigy around the time when I was coming up. I'm a little bit older, and basically we did play a couple of times. The first time it was a draw. I played the closed Sicilian, which is an opening I really don't play in my modern career, ironically. And I remember it was like Josh had a rook against knight, and I was angry that he wouldn't give me a draw, and I kind of like made angry faces until he eventually like succumbed. You know, rook against knight with no pawns on the board kind of thing. And then we were both masters. I mean, it wasn't like we were little kids, you know. I'm talking about like, you know, a 2350 playing a 2200, and he was playing on with like rook against knight, but it was just clear that I wasn't going to lose. So that was the first game, and then the second game I won in an important tournament in at the Marshall Chess Club in a round robin, and he actually put that game in his annotated games in the Chess Master program. Okay, guys, so now it's a little tricky. The knight on f3 is immobile, and I'm thinking about putting my queen on f6, king on e7. Or queen on f6, maybe king on e7 or castle's queen side, depending on the situation. I'm going to lose a little bit of time here. He quickly played rook f1. And then I'm not going to be able to do the move I wanted to do here, unfortunately. Damn. Queen g7, bishop g6 check, king e7 is... No, I'm having hallucinations, okay. It's always good. I can play king e7, okay, it's cool. Kano is fast. He's very fast. I was paranoid of rook f7, but in order to do that combination, he's going to have to give up a lot of material. So too much material, I think, if he wants to win my queen. So actually, Whiteskin, he notated or analyzed the game he lost to me in the Chess Master program, which, you know, if you have that, I don't know if I have that. I think I might even have it somewhere. It wasn't a great game by me. I mean, it was just kind of like a, equal position where he misplayed it. Now things are getting complicated. Queen takes rook, and then the thing is here, I don't have to take his bishop. I have another move, rook here. Check. And that's... I mean, first of all, taking the bishop is probably enough material for me. I'm probably just winning with... Am I winning? 2 pieces and a rook for a queen. It's pretty good. But this looks good. Or does it? Yeah, this looks good too. We're going to take the rook. Maybe not. I think I have to at this point. I'm a little nervous about this, to be honest. I'm not sure this was the right idea. Your father gave me this CD as a gift for my 12th birthday. I installed it, ran it once, never touched it again. So you're talking about the Chessmaster 9000? So you look up my game, man. Troll face quest. Alright, white to move. Man, this lawnmower thing is just driving me crazy. There are this psycho rogue lawnmower people. Where I live here in the US, people are just obsessed with mowing their lawns. And they hire landscapers to do it, and those people have like commercial sized lawnmowers. And you can hear them, they're like a mile away, and it sounds like they're in your yard. It's extremely irritating. Rook takes A1. Maybe I should have just taken the 2 pieces and a rook for the queen. It would have been a little simpler. I went for more material, but not necessarily the best continuation. Chessmaster was a funny program to play. Queen G6 looks very strong. I recommend Queen G6. So, what other questions do we have? Somebody was mentioning trolls. I think we just had one troll. We have troll in a roll, but he's not a true troll. Blue Crow, our moderator, one of our moderators is here. Hey, what's up, Blue Crow? We're not out of control with trolls, but we had one minor troll, which I booted from the room. I was actually concerned about, to be honest, I was concerned about Queen H7, guys. This was the only move that actually bothered me in this position. Because he can like put the queen on G7. There just isn't any convenient move to deal with Queen H7. I was actually going to have to play something like Rook F8 and then put my king on... It looks like I can play Rook F8 and put my king there. But there were just complications like Rook F8, bishop takes E6 check, king takes E6, D5 check. And I started to basically get really nervous that way I might have something there. But after this move, I don't think he has as much. I can play knight F6, control this square, and I just don't see him penetrating, you know? Now he only has Queen G6, I can play Rook G8, he has to go to H6, he basically like has nothing to do. Oh no, there he has Queen F7. I take it back, I'll have to play something else. Rook F8, and he has Queen G7. So this is a dangerous move he found, in fact. We have a slate problem. Gonna have to take the bishop, it looks like. Or I have to take the bishop, only choice. He should have thought about Queen H7, kind of an automatic recapture there from Kano. And still, it's not an easy situation for me. I'm not really sure what's going on. Should we snap a pawn? I'm not sure that's the best. I'm not sure I'm even winning here. His passed pawn is so strong that I might be in trouble. This is sudden death too. 1635. I definitely made the wrong decision there. Man, oh man. His pawn won't get through, but I don't know if I can win. I'm seriously concerned as to whether or not I can win. It looks like I can avoid losing by stopping his pawn, you know, promoting through h8. But winning looks like a tricky question. My king doesn't have a lot of safety here. I've got this extra bishop, basically. I mean, you would think that I was winning because of this extra piece, but I'm not so sure. He has a lot of checks. I could also possibly win with 2 rooks against the queen in the right circumstances. h7. Now hold on a sec. Right. He's going to take on g5. I can play rook f7. Queen takes king d7. This almost looks too good to be true. Please don't let there be any resources for white here. If we can pick off the h-pawn, I've got to remember that there's no increment. This is sudden death. Okay, no. He's got a lot of games. Wow, very active player here on lichess. Do you have any GM what? Do you have any GM under 18s? What are we talking about? Your top team is probably a lot tougher. Talking about France. They must have some GM under 18, man. There are a lot of strong players in France now. It's funny, when I was starting out, there were like no French GMs in the 80s. In the late 80s, there were just no French GMs at all, and then they really just got quickly strong. Lautier was like, I don't know if he was the first French GM, but he was the first really notable GM. Who was the first French GM? Was it Lautier? I mean, that's hard to believe. There had to be someone before him. Bishop c6. So, I'm afraid I might have been lost, or even, you know, like worse. More likely worse. Let's see. We go to this position, and, you know, I think I just did the wrong thing. Then he takes g5, rook f7 check, queen takes. And yeah, so I should have probably taken with the bishop, according to the computer. This was safer for me. But it's really close. The variation I chose gives white more play. Rook takes, and now I thought queen h7 here. Apparently bishop takes e6 is even possible. I mean, I'm not a computer. You know, maybe a computer can win this for black, but it was kind of complicated after queen h7. He played bishop h5. Apparently I'm winning here. This was a huge inaccuracy. And now he's okay again. I have to play rook f8, which isn't that obvious, you know, to me at all. Rook f8 or rook h8, but knight f6 was a blunder, and suddenly white's okay. And this is probably equal here. He had queen h7 check. This was a massive move. So this is a good lesson. Okay, no. Automatic recaptures. You had time. You have to like look for slightly better moves. This was the big mistake. With queen h7, you would have saved the game and probably drawn. But by making the automatic recapture, ended up being your demise. Top player what? Teams French. Bacro and MVL were both GMs by like 14 or so. I'm just wondering, who was the first French GM? Was it Lautier? It seems kind of late, you know? Olivier René or something like that, maybe? Alright guys, we've got a lot of challenges. Let's move on. Any other subscribers? Plucro is a moderator and a subscriber, so he's welcome to challenge. He's not in the challenge list. Lord Jesus Christ is next. We're going to play him. Against Lord Jesus Christ, last time I think I played something like d4 or c4 knight f3. Caro Khan defense. I imagine that France has a lot of strong players, and some of them are under 18. Almost every country has a GM under 18 nowadays. Well, knight d2. It's not really trendy. Knight d2 is supposedly better against g6 than knight c3. I'm going to play this old gambit. I think this is Boleslavsky, who is attributed to playing this gambit. They attributed this gambit to Boleslavsky, but maybe it's even older than that. I've always had good practical results with this. So welcome, guys. Please check out my YouTube channel as well, Video Chess Training on YouTube. Lord Jesus Christ plays like the simplest move. Bishop takes e4. I mean, I think the critical is queen takes d4. I was just reading somewhere an old commentary on this position where some classical master said like queen takes d4 was the critical move. But I mean, bishop takes e4 is okay for black. We actually had a similar game against Lord Jesus Christ the other day, where he had basically two knights and a bishop against our two bishops and a knight in a closed structure. Something similar to this. It's hard for black to do anything active in this position. I'm not sure about bishop f4, but I don't really have a clear plan. Something like black doesn't have a good plan. We're going to try to slowly improve the position. Hope that I could have played queen b3 there as well. Hope that black makes some break that'll open up the two bishops for me. Here's a key question: should I play bishop back to d2 or bishop g3? And I don't really know the answer, but I think I do know the answer. All right. I mean, I've got to be wary about like f5, but that would just dreadfully weaken his position if he were to play f5. Lord Jesus Christ, I think, playing a bit too fast in an 8+3 time control. So welcome, guys. You can feel free to challenge me to anything between 5+3 and 8+3. We've got challenges where almost everyone's challenging 8+3. It's not necessary. 5+3 is cool too. I just like to have the increment to commentate on the games and so forth. This is a sort of consistent move for black, in the sense that I think he's trying to play for a pawn break here with e5. If he does that, though, he might end up with an isolated pawn on d5. So very simple position here. Black plays a5 now, just kind of randomly grabbing some space. Maybe a4 is worth considering, not to let him have too much space. I'm not sure. Let's develop another piece, or should I play a4, shut him down? I also have bishop d6 at some point. That's interesting. a4 shutting him down. He doesn't have a white squared bishop. Yeah, this queen d8 move. I wonder if I moved the wrong rook to d1. Maybe I should have moved the other rook to d1. I also have queen b3 here. It's going to be hard to get rid of that knight, though, on d5. I'd have to trade it. Let's just play a centralizing move. Rook e8. Lord Jesus Christ basically playing like it's a blitz game. But it's long time control, 8+3. I'm going to have to trade his knight, it looks like, with a piece to get rid of it. I mean, okay, c4 is possible. Let's try Petrosian-like maneuver here. We can combat his idea of... Man, he's playing fast. We can combat his idea of knight coming to b4 by putting our knight on d3. I think that Lord Jesus Christ is just playing too fast without any clear plan here. And white has a slight advantage. He's playing like it's a very fast blitz game or a bullet game. Okay, it's harder for black to formulate plans. He has less space. So it's easy to criticize him, but it's harder to live life in his shoes. Since I have the stronger center on d4, there's more stuff I can do. This fancy Petrosian-like maneuver, knight c1, knight d3, he can't make maneuvers like that. I mean, I don't really like his knight on b6 now. It was on d7, it was controlling some key squares. Now he goes knight c4. Just feels like he's sort of lunging about almost randomly. b3 followed by c4 is interesting, but would weaken my d4 square a lot. Queen b3. What happens on queen b3? He goes back to... Yeah, I mean, actually I like queen b3. Rather than playing b3 and weakening my pawn chain, I can just play this less committal move. You've been shaming yourself lately. Is Blue Crow your name? Guys, please subscribe to the channel. Support the stream. Support my YouTube channel also by a PayPal donation. Check out my YouTube channel, and if you can't afford it, just subscribe and like over there on YouTube. Video chess training on YouTube. Java update. I don't really have time for a Java update right now at this moment. Now c4 is a move that we would like to play at some moment, but it's going to radically weaken my square d4. So the key question is, can we afford it? It does look pretty tempting, I have to admit. But he can just play knight b4, take, and then he's on my a pawn. It's incredibly annoying. First I should play knight c5, I guess. Just sort of probe the position. He can't play rook b8. That is very important. My bishop just cutting through this diagonal. Still, it's not easy for me to make progress here. I have an idea, though. I had an idea, but it just disappeared. Hard to make progress, I admit, but it's a lot harder to play this position for black than it is for white. A lot harder. Combinations. I don't have c4. I can put my knight on e4. He just moves his bishop back to there. You can just kind of probe the position. h3 might be a useful move. What can we do here? c4. Man, anytime I play c4, he plays knight b4. That's very irritating. Combinations. Try to set up combinations by just putting pressure on his pawn chain. It's probably not a bad idea. Combinations against e6. Black is placed quite passively here. Now he's really asking for it. Knight takes e6. Just doesn't do anything. Alright. Alright, I don't think he's threatening anything here. I understand what he's trying to do, though. I think I understand. He's also possibly threatening f5 in some positions, which is super annoying. I could play knight back to d3. I think that's probably best. Just defending like a genius. Lord Jesus Christ. He's so solid. I know that I'm better here, but I don't see how to break through. Don't have a combination. It's hard to get rid of the knight on d5. Gosh, he wants to trade pieces. Oh man, come on now. I really thought I had c4. Wait a minute. Bishop takes, queen takes, c4. Are you kidding me? Or c4. And that's ridiculous. Bishop takes, queen takes, c4. He's seen through this. Oh, no, 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 no. Bishop takes, queen takes, c4, c5. Bishop takes, queen takes, c4, c5. Because c5 will hit the knight and hit the rook when it hits on b6. You've got to be kidding me if he has any way to defend this. You've got to be kidding me. He's got 4 minutes to come up with some sort of miraculous defense. Is there a betting bot? A good idea, a betting bot. Brundle Phil. We should have a wagering device here. Is that possible? I'm going to play c5 next. So, okay, my question is this. Can he play knight f6? And if c5, queen b8, with the idea of b takes c, knight takes g4, I think I let him take on h2, and I walk my king out to like e2, and I ended up like up a rook when I take on a7. So I think at the end of the day, we'll see that that variation would have held for me. So here, I've got to play c5. And doesn't win? Gotta be kidding me. He defended this. It doesn't win. He has queen d5. I didn't see it. He found it though. 2300 in classical, 1600 bullet. He said he has a tablet, so he doesn't have a mouse or something. He's pretty strong. And can I play d5? He's obviously seen this tactic. He has a defense for everything. That's amazing. He's seen every little tactic. This back rank tactic with like rook takes d5, pawn takes, hanging his queen because of back rank mate here. So it looks like white has basically nothing now. It's like equal. Just so the guy who you lost to in classical is banned. We still haven't gotten refunded the points. Yeah, and I sent another message to, you know, like report that, but they haven't gotten back to me yet. It's alright. I'll just have to get the points back manually. It takes me about like 30 games of beating like 2,000 players to get 50 points in classical. I don't know why. I thought they automatically refunded the points, but I guess not. Why is Lord Jesus Christ thinking so long here? It looks like an equal position now. I'm very curious. Well, it used to be an equal position. Now we have some kind of... What do we have? Some kind of... tiny advantage here? Looks like he made a mildly risky move. If I play queen takes d5, we can retain some kind of microscopic advantage. But I don't know if I really want to trade rooks. Rook takes, rook e8. I mean, we should be a little bit... We should really be a little bit better here. I mean, obviously all of our pieces are super active. I need like a double threat. No, Lord Jesus Christ, please don't do that. Alright. I'm just going to end the game because I just don't like it when people add more time. It's already like an 8-minute game. I thought you watched the stream. I get very irritated when people do that. Adding time. It's not necessary, dude. Let's just agree to a draw. This is just a draw position. Yeah, he just defended like a genius. I don't think I had a win. The really brilliant part here will come a little bit later. It says I did have a win. I'm winning here. I must have had some kind of hallucination. Wow. Whoa. I didn't think this worked. Oh my god, I'm crazy. So this just works. I don't know why I hallucinated this didn't work. I was looking at rook takes, you know, which doesn't work. But I just take with the queen. Oh man. Alright. That sucks. I don't know. I think I saw it, but then didn't realize it worked. I forgot. Anyway, interesting game. Slagy's son. Do we have any other subscribers who want to play? I don't think so. No one else is a subscriber. Please subscribe, guys. Just $5 a month. He's a good player, but he made some mistakes. You know, he's solid. But I should see queen takes d5. I actually looked at it and then hallucinated that it didn't work. But he kept me in time pressure. This is 5+3. This is going to be a little bit faster. Mule Skinner's there. Mule Skinner's there? Oh, I didn't notice Mule Skinner in the chat. What's up, Mule Skinner? Thanks for subscribing and thanks for being here to play. You think Jesus is a female? Could be. That's like, you know, not the classical image of Jesus, but it's possible. Alright, guys. This is a new player from Uganda. There was another player who played on my stream who said they were from Uganda. So it could be the same guy. But 1770, it's reasonable. It's not super strong. This is an inferior setup for black he's letting me play d5. This knight on c6 gets kicked. So when I go e3, he's supposed to play either e5, which is very trendy, d5 going into like a kind of English, or g6 or e6. But he played d6, which is kind of inferior. I'm going to stop bishop g4 and then go about my business here. I don't want him to free this piece. I'm working on a middle game video series, and one of the things that I'm going to cover in that series, this is for like another website, one of the things I'm going to cover is like bad pieces. You know, it's a very important concept in the middle game. This bishop is, in my opinion, like a piece that's a chronic problem in a lot of openings that and this knight as well. These two pieces are actually the most common problems. The queen side pieces. The queen's knight and the bishop. Black should probably play a5 there, knight a6, and try to play knight c5. That's the only way to make all the pieces work for black here. Okay, he's trying to play b5. And maybe I should think twice about this. You know, playing a4 or knight to d4. I could play knight to d4. He doesn't have tactics. He might have knight g4 there. Not a big deal. Alright, Blue Crow, thank you for the note, man. We've got big space advantage. But these problem pieces are middle game themes that crop up, particularly the queen's bishop. The queen's knight sometimes in certain openings, usually like the queen's Indian defense, where you put the bishop on b7, you have pawns on d7, usually. You don't want to put the knight on c6 because it gets in the way of the bishop on b7. Certain openings, Benoni, this piece is very bad. That's why I played h3, to keep this bishop off of a good square. And so Slagey San here, he just took on d5. I mean, I considered this, and you know, come to think of it, it may not be that bad for black. I just assumed this would be good for me because I have a better structure. But at the end of the day, it may not be all that bad for black. He's simplified quite a bit, and I don't have anything like crushing. He's just gonna lose a piece, though. He's not losing a piece. Wow, this is a creative solution. Have to say, I didn't foresee that, man. That's pretty deep. Pretty deep idea. I'm gonna play this. Try to find a simple solution again. Better structure for white, but not a big advantage. He's managed to simplify quite a bit here. It's a very sophisticated, like, temporary piece sacrifice. What would be called in the old days a sham sacrifice. And look how active his pieces are. So I think that's a pretty impressive sequence there for Slagey San. Condescending. No, it's not about just condescending. Okay, it's kind of condescending, but it's more like we're already playing an 8+3 game, which takes like 20 minutes, and there are like 10 people waiting to play. So the problem is more for me that, you know, there just isn't enough time for that. To make the game like a 25-minute game or even longer, we just can't, you know, make the games any longer. It's like 25 minutes is enough. 20 minutes is enough for a single game, because the stream is like 2.5 hours, and we usually play like 10 games. So basically, by adding time, you're extending the time control, you know, to something longer. And yeah, you could interpret it in some cases as being condescending, but that's not my main issue with it. I just don't want the games to be any longer than they already are. So bishop f3, we maintain the good structure. I don't understand why I played knight e7. Honestly, after knight c6, bishop e3, I have the feeling that black is okay here. I have the feeling that the position is almost equal. Now knight f5, this is insane stuff, man. He's offering this pawn at b7 like he knows. He knows I can't take it. So I've got this just minuscule advantage. Anytime I take on b7, it opens up this can of worms here. trying to keep it as simple as possible. Static weaknesses. Isolated pawn. Isolated queen pawn. Trading pieces increases the effect of that weak pawn. But this is an insanely good move. I mean, queen f6, dude. Wow. I mean, that looks like best move. What the heck, dude? He's got how many rated games? He's better than 1770 if he can find a move like queen f6. I guess I can go ahead and take on b7, take on a6. I'm scared, though. I mean, I'm winning a pawn, but I'm giving him activity. I mean, 1770, really, dude? I must don't have a square here. Scared. Queen d5. He's definitely stronger than 1770. I'm just waiting to like hang a piece or something. Queen f6 is not an easy move to find. It's probably the only move in that position that doesn't just strategically lose. He prevents this like key exchange of bishops. This is a high level move. You know, there's like 10 candidate moves he could play there. And queen f6 is clearly best. Rook e8. Interesting. Could it be a blunder? Bishop d4. Rook takes rook. Rook takes rook. Queen takes d4. Rook e8 check. He had defended really well. Maybe he falls for a tactic of my own. Not that I was planning it. I mean, he just set himself up for it. He's down a pawn. I don't know. You know, if he had enough compensation. All his pieces are active. But life wasn't so easy. Bishop d4. I'm not really playing for tactics, but we've got this rook e8 check. So I guess he's like lost here. Queen g5. There's nothing he can do. Queen takes d4, rook e8 check, bishop f8, queen takes d4. That's it. Really, I was concerned I had lost my advantage. He was so active. Just got lucky, basically. Sometimes we just get lucky, but everything's attacked. His rook's attacked. Yeah. But that's the danger. I mean, he put his rook on an unprotected square, and there's a back rank problem, so we're just not playing for tactics, but if they happen to be there, they happen to be there. We fundamentally kept everything protected. Bishop d4, rid of rook b e2. Rook b e2. No, I'm just taking. It doesn't do anything. Wow, Slagy's sun goes down. Yeah, okay. So, check this out when he played queen f6, man. I mean, I guess I'm just exaggerating. I liked queen f6. The engine said he should play a simple move, like queen c7. Okay, maybe the engine's right, but I think that my advantage is clear there. Queen c7, rook ac1. That seems like very good for me. Very good for white, I would say. But after queen f6, I can just play b3. I didn't want to give up the two rooks for the queen. The computer says this is good for white. Okay, so this is the point here. Wow. What is this? That's... I mean... I don't understand why this is so good for white. Bishop takes b7. His rooks just can't play. That's interesting. Alright, I did not consider b3 enough. Other than that, rook e2 was also possible. So I raved about queen f6. Maybe it's not necessarily the best move. It looked like a good move, though, at the time. Here he has activity. He had d5. Rook takes b2, queen d5, and apparently I'm just slightly better. And he just blundered. This is just a blunder. Alright, guys. Mule Skinner is next. It looks like we lost some challengers. Mule Skinner is a subscriber, guys. Who's going to subscribe? Come on. We need new subscribers. I'm proud of him, man. He played the opening badly, but managed to fight back to a nearly equal position. He's not my real son, but he's inspiring. All right. Let's try something new against Mule Skinner. G3. Goat Alu. We've seen you before. Welcome to the stream. Mule Skinner, I'm going to play something a little bit different to try to confuse you. Larson used to play this, and I played this once against Larry Christensen. It's like the Alekine's defense reversed. But he will not bite. Mule Skinner will not bite. He's just going to play his setup no matter what you do. Alright. He plays f5. We could go into like a Pierce. But Mule Skinner won't play d5, like transposing to the Austrian attack. He wants to play like his Grand Prix attack no matter what you do. Now d4 is kind of interesting. Let's try that. We'll keep it like Alekine's defense style. Something interesting. Yellow Dragon, it's in order that they came except for the subscribers. Yeah, some other times we've done random order, but I'm only doing the streams like 3 days a week. I just want to get this opponent out of, you know, his normal territory. He's a very, he's a player who very much relies on playing positions that he feels comfortable in, and he forces it very well. Limited repertoire, always closed structures. So I want to try to keep it imbalanced and kind of open if I can. If I can open it, then I'll try to open it. He has two ways to keep it not open, basically by playing e4 or d6 here. We played this, and I think I have to play knight e5 because other moves just aren't very active. This is also a centralizing move. So he's arguably like overextended this pawn a tiny bit. We're going to try to chip away at it with f3 at some point, most likely. If he takes on e5, he loses his stable position of his knight on f6. That should give me some play. Not to say it's not possible, but I'm not sure what the heck is going on after like knight takes e5. Bishop d6 is a really interesting move. I don't want to play f4 and lock it up anymore. Knight c4 is interesting. I keep saying interesting. Just too many interestings. Alright. We're gonna pull that off of there and attack that dark squared bishop, which is actually the guardian of his dark squares. He has a pawn structure kind of based on white squares, which means that the dark squared bishop is a good defender. Well, it's actually good all around. Good defender of the dark square is a good attacker as well. That's a piece he really wants to keep, I think. The bishop on d6. Saronche started watching, man. Saronche, our original moderator. So here now it looks like I've got to pull the trigger on d5. If I don't pull the trigger on d5, then I'm not a real chess player. And this is where black starts to have issues. So this is the fly in the ointment. We're threatening d6, which is really nasty. we managed to confuse Mr. Plucro. He's got knight b4. That looks like the most interesting possibility. I said it again. Just addicted to saying interesting. Lots of possibilities here. Knight b4, d6, pawn takes pawn. Maybe an intermezzo like bishop f4 even. Lots of possibilities. Knight b4. What else can he do? Knight b8. It's very passive. I really don't see an option, any other option. b5. b5 looks like a stupid move. Kind of weakens black's position, just loses by force to knight e3. So I've also got knight e3 at some moment. Knight c3, just developing a piece. I just don't want him to play d6, because if he plays d6, it seems like he salvages his whole position. So we need to play this first. First and foremost, break up his pawn chain, create weaknesses in the opponent's camp. Whose king is safer here? The white king, of course. And we just temporarily sacrifice a pawn. We got tons of options here for white. Even, well, I was going to say a3, but it looks like he can maybe go here. I'm not really sure. I think he has to take with the pawn. I was talking about bishop f4 earlier. But that looks kind of complicated. This move I didn't even consider. Wow. Did not even consider it. But maybe it's not so bad. It looks pretty extreme. Pretty extreme. Extremulating. Crazy. Black with very little development here. Just asking for trouble. Bishop f4. I mean, this just looks so dangerous for black. Got a lot of time, guys. Too much structural damage. Okay, Anu said you're from Cyprus. You can't watch until the end. What is that? What are you guys talking about? Singing practice to do soon. My next stream is Friday, 4 p.m. ET. ET phone home. What am I going to do? I mean, if I can't move my knight without dropping the d6 pawn, I want to make a constructive move that develops. We take on c7, we help his queen. We play bishop f4. That looks like the natural move to me. Yeah, this has got to be right. What am I thinking about? Just got to be right. Knight d5? If knight d5, we take on c7, obviously. If he takes on d6, we're in good shape. We're developing all of our pieces. This is in the background, f3. You know, sometimes even g4 happens in the structure, but I want to eliminate that pawn on e4 eventually, if I can, to break open the position. Especially now that he's undeveloped. D takes is actually crushing, no? D takes is crushing. Well, he was on my knight, so I didn't know like what my follow-up would be there. Now, I'm actually a little concerned. Ow. A little concerned about his control of the d5 square, but I don't think that should be. I don't think that should be the only issue in the world, right? What a weird position. We're going for f5 directly. Directamundo. Yeah, I mean, what else? Target. Can black play g6? That would that'd be a crazy move, huh? Just g6. Reminding me of a computer I played once here on lichess. We have time for knight c3, and I think after g6, knight c3, I don't know, maybe he's still okay there. Actually, g6, queen d4. Knight takes c2 is impossible. That's one good thing about this knight move. It protected c2. It wasn't even something I was thinking about in advance, but it is a huge feature. Feature. Knight to d5. I mean, I planned on just taking this. That pawn is not really the only point. I mean, okay, breaking up his pawn chain in the center, but my knight on f5 is guarding this key pawn on d6, which is just messing with him. And he's bottled up. This central pawn falls. He's got no center left at all. Okay, knight d5 I didn't expect there. I expected g6. e3. e3. We need to preserve this pawn. I mean, I can't have him coming down on my face here with knight takes f4. That's not happening. My king needs some safety. We need these pawns. So queen f6, bishop takes e4. Can I just do that? I'm just threatening to take this. Notice his queen side just totally bottled up. Because of my pawn on d6, he cannot complete his development. Lots of options here, but my knight is hanging. So it could get a little sharp after queen takes b2 type of moves. Bishop takes e4 is interesting. The problem is queen takes b2. After bishop takes e4, queen takes b2, maybe I can sack a rook. You got to admit. Sacking a rook looks like a really interesting option. But is it necessary? You know, probably not. I'm just going to play knight d2 and develop the rest of my pieces. This is probably good enough. I don't know what's happening. No time to calculate. Queen takes, bishop takes d6, knight takes e4. That's good to know. If queen takes b2, oh, he just did that. Wow. All right, now he's going to castle, so that's not good. Aren't I just winning here? We just take and win a piece. Looks like he had to try queen takes b2. We confused him with our weird opening, and he never really got out of it. Never really found his way in this game. Yeah, we're just going to win a piece. Constant change. Being here so late. Is he in the... He's in the... Yeah, he's in the challenge, but... In the challenge. He's challenging. He's always challenging, but he's late lately. Late lately. Okay, now... My first inclination was to take on c8. It is kind of a pity. Oh, I have knight f5 check as well. Knight f5 check. The tricky move. And then this. Trading queens. Breaking his back. Yeah, I mean, it was just probably not good to play this bishop d6, bishop e7 thing. Surprisingly, there's no games in this position in the lichess opening explorer. Wow, that's crazy. How is it possible? It's a totally logical sequence. There's one guy. This is like, what is this, a correspondence game? It has to be. This has to be a correspondence game. I never heard of these players. d4, e4, 95. And now knight e7. That's an interesting move. That's probably best. Wow. Knight e7, questioning my knight on e5. Subtle move. You'll Skinner it for next time. Bishop d6 was a little weird. Yeah, I think he's just worse after that. Yeah, there's no getting out of this. This is just bad for black. Bishop f8, bishop f4. He's basically like lost here. Alright guys, let's move on. Keith Artikel. Do we have any other subscribers, guys? Who's gonna subscribe today? Gotta get at least one subscriber. Come on now. If you're a subscriber, you get the challenge first. Keith Artikel is next. From Hungary. Alright, e4. I'm feeling hyper modern today. You're gonna quit chess? No, just 97 and you have a good close Sicilian, it looks like. No, Alcano is subbed and he challenged, but he already played, Blue Crow. We already played. It's he's actually an early sub who just hasn't been on the stream really. I was wondering the same thing, but I forgot his name. He subbed one day and then he hasn't really been around on the stream very much. Now against Keith Artikel, it's a Pirtz or modern defense. I've already played bishop g7, so we're gonna keep it modern. The thing is, I mean, this queen d2 and always bishop h6. We're gonna delay the knight on g8. I played a game with somebody recently, maybe in my simul. Was it you? Was it you, Keith Artikel, who actually played this with me? We had the same opening in my simul on Sunday. Every Sunday, so now at 5 p.m. on Sundays, Eastern Time, I'm doing simuls here. That's what you get for coming here late. Man, we're just glad you're here, Blue Crow. You do a great job. And it's nice having a moderator so I can concentrate on playing, not just babysitting the trolls. Speaking of trolls, where did Troll go? Did he leave after his game? He hasn't even played yet. Actually, we didn't play Troll and he left. H4. Now, I have the feeling that that is probably like a mainline move and a dangerous move. That looks kind of scary. I'm going to play h5 because I'm not really down with h5, and he played g4, just going totally nuts. There was an article in Time magazine about the Unabomber, and I think this is definitely Unabomber style here. G4. I don't see really how it works though. So you're doing g4. If you do h5, I'm just gonna take it. Okay, I don't get it. f3. Alright. Alright. Fair enough. Interesting. So, if I play knight f6, it gets kind of weird. He has some stuff with e5, possibly. You know, that's kind of uncomfortable. Knight f6, e5. And not being that familiar with this variation of the modern, I've got to be a bit careful. So we have other options and ways of dealing with people like this. Knight b6. I was thinking about knight b6. It looks interesting. Maybe could work. Not the most flexible and developing move at my disposal though. How about bishop b7? Developing a piece. I prefer in the first 10 moves especially. He does it anyway. I was concerned about d5 anyway, but he did it now. It's a little different now. I think I need to play like c6 or c5 at at some point. C5 takes, bishop takes. All right. He's playing fast. He just took his pawn back. Dude. All right, well, it feels like it's like a dragon, or actually it doesn't feel like a dragon. It feels like a Benoni, where he castled queenside in the Benoni, or closed Sicilian. He's now going to get his head handed to him. His proverbial head handed to him. Queen a5 is tempting, but there are other ways we could try to play with knight e5. Rook b8 might be a good move to throw in there. I just like my position a lot. He's playing too fast. Definitely playing too fast. That is kind of annoying. There's the possibility of bishop takes c3 in around here somewhere. There's also b4, followed by knight f6, which might just be a really simple way to do this. We go for a central pawn. I mean, either this one or this one. We try to get our material back. I don't have an immediate attack, but I actually had another possible move there, knight e5, but I like developing my pieces. This just looks really good. I think we're just winning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Better structure. And white doesn't really have any attack here. We're going to take out that dark squared bishop at some point. Knight e5 or knight b6. They're both nasty. Wow. Man, this looks fatal for white. This is super fatal. Which way to go? It's like the ultimate Benoni dragon. He's played too fast. I wouldn't be surprised if I had bishop. Actually, I had bishop takes b2 last move. This is like an awakening. An awakening for white. Like, just snap that pawn and queen a3 check and takes on e3. Just way too fast. You cannot castle. Cannot castle in this type of position and expect to live. No mate, but I have other fun stuff I can do. And I have some evil ideas here. Knight c4. Knight c4, okay, that's like the minimum. We can do knight c4 and win material, or just mess up his structure. Actually, knight c4, pawn takes pawn, queen a3. He has this sick move, knight d3 there, which might even defend and make me resign. Alright, let's try not to be too fancy here. Queen a3 just wins by force, doesn't it? It doesn't win by force, but we have a nasty attack. Alright. Yeah, but he played this move too quickly too. The only move, I guess, is knight d3. You're still alive after knight d3. But now I'm just taking here. This was not pretty. Yeah, white just loses a piece. So, the lesson learned here is not to play too quickly. I think he's a competent player, but he played like it was a bullet game. Let's take a quick look at the opening, because I think h4 was good. If I'm not mistaken, it's the main line. Yep. h4 is the main line. h5 is main line. Although I might try other moves. I think I swear I saw a Smearin game in this. Okay, h5. And so you not innovated here with the pawn sacrifice, but it's probably not sound, man. I mean, you need to prepare it. There's knight h3, knight g5 type of ideas, which is standard, and there's f3 or knight f3. All these moves seem to have a good score for white, but this was too ambitious. Too ambitious for white. And here I like just simply taking en passant on c6. Queen a5 is good. Maybe a3 is the lesser of the evils. He played king b1. I think it's over. It's basically over. Yeah. Okay. Instructive game. Meowazy is next. Do we have any other subscribers? You should just cancel then. Yeah, we don't play 2 games against the same player unless there's really nobody left in the stream. Meowazy is really strong. Apparently he's from Russia. He played like God against me in 2 games. Like a 2500 should. If he's not here, he's not here, but he is here. You got money on Meowazy. I'm going to bet on Meowazy to at least draw. Where is bishop f4? The over-under is a draw for Meowazy. At least a draw. If Meowazy loses, then I lose the bet. Let's play solid. Who does Meowazy remind me of? The London system, that's creative. He played bishop d3. Yeah, that's fine. Probably mainline, Magnus Carlsen. h3. This is probably like the main recommended move order. Perfect move order for white. Queen e2. I'm not sure about that. If Queen e2 is necessarily best or not. It might even be a mistake. I feel like it's a mistake. What happens if I play like knight d5 here? And then like knight b4. Isn't that an issue? Don't I have this? How is he playing with like no time? What is he trying to prove? I don't really understand. He's playing like sort of substandard moves ultra fast. But the point of my stream is to like really try to improve and play the best moves. I don't want to play bullet in an 8-minute game, man. He's probably been playing a lot of bullet. There's this kind of like effect that if you play too much bullet, then you continue to play as if it's bullet in a longer time control. That's what the guy's doing here. He was probably just playing bullet 5 minutes ago. He used 4 seconds for the whole game, but it's like he's trying to show me up or something. And he never talks in the stream. Let's see. I want to take my time. Bishop takes f3. I can also play d5 and then bishop a6. How about just bishop a6 first off? Then there's queen e4. That doesn't work. Yeah, actually, strange as it might seem, this move looks interesting. I guess then knight c6. This is definitely a kind of weird plan of playing, you know, bishop b7 and bishop a6. But we're going to try to take it to him on the queen side with knight c6 and rook c8 if he tries to castle long. Not much action in the chat. Space Bona. At the moment, not a lot of action in the chat. Played d5. Ah, d5. That's a kind of scary move. Should I play Queen c8? It's just getting really weird. Now as he's playing bullet in an 8-minute game. Now his position is a little bit weird. I'm sure that he's like tactically godlike. Knight c6. Pawn takes pawn is possible now. I said knight c6. I don't know why I said that. That's not what I meant. Say it like you mean it. What do we do? Like go back to b7? That feels kind of weird to do that. It's actually not such a bad move. Let's have b5. How about b5? It's getting weirder and weirder around here. Position just keeps getting stranger all the time. Looks like eventually I'm going to get in trouble. Meowsy sees every tactic perfectly. If knight e6, I'm going to take it and then play like rook e8. You like the other pieces. I'm threatening pawn takes pawn check. So he castles queenside. Feels like I'm playing like Alexei Shirov or something. b4 first. Yeah, he's unbelievably strong, this guy. I would think I would put the money on him. But he's not played perfectly. I wonder who this is. Like, does it remind anybody of anybody else from lichess, from Russia? He's like a really fast player. I moved my bishop like 7 times. Doesn't seem very efficient. Offering to sacrifice a pawn here for counterplay. It might be Lance. It looks like Lance a little bit to me. That's what I was thinking, you know. He plays kind of like Lance in 5500. That's exactly what I was thinking, Clash Kid. It's almost like it's Lance 5500 playing on a different account. That's exactly what I would compare him to. No, it's no Dlugi, man. I mean, Dlugi would, you know, I don't know. Dlugi wouldn't play me. You know what I mean? He's too self, you know. Dlugi's ego is too big to play random IMs. Hey, Julian Proleco, what's up, man? Good result at the World Open. I saw you won a nice prize there. Lance is from Russia, yeah. No, Meowsy reminds me of Lance. Very practical style, very fast. He's from Russia, around the same rating. But I just don't see him like sitting around waiting to play on my stream. Russian chess players all look the same. And your name is Nefedov. Like, you sound like you could be Russian. Franco from Russia too. I don't think he's that strong. No, he's like 2200 here on lichess. This guy is tanking in this position for some reason. That was super weird. He just spent all his time on King B1. I did not expect that. I have no interest in the G2 pawn whatsoever. I wouldn't take that pawn, like, ever. So now we have to calculate knight c6, c4 trapping my bishop type of lines. Knight c6, c4, I'm looking for tactics, you know, but I don't see it. The problem is my stupid bishop getting trapped all the time. I guess I can play, like, something lame. Knight a6. At the very least. Trading queens is possible, where white is just slightly better in the ending. The bishop on d6 leaves him with a better ending. Not really what I wanted to do here. The g2 pawn is just not happening. Sacking a queen or something? Nope. Alright, well, for the sake of not losing on time, I'm going to play this move. When it looks like white is slightly better with a dominant bishop. Maybe knight c7. Try to get my knight back in the game. Man, this is awkward. Queen b7. White is just owning me here strategically. Yeah. It's just like over. I'm so confident here. Okay, I need to clear my back rank. Queen b7 was a good move. I mean, I'm close to like losing, but I'm maybe not lost. I'm just pretending I'm playing like a very strong grandmaster or something in my mind. Queen g3 f6. That's not the end of the world. It's a move I probably have to play anyway at some point. Oh. He missed that. Thank you for pointing that out, Blue Crow. Be careful with that. Dude, you gave him like the winning move. It's a good thing. How did he not see that with that? He's not paying attention to the commentary. It looks like maybe I cannot lose immediately now after rook e3. Queen g3 was just game over because I didn't have knight e8. He did not find it. But it's like a really strong. Feels very mechanical to me. You couldn't accuse them of playing perfect moves though. Very systematic. We've been through this before in 2 previous games with this player. Really extremely systematic style. Played a fantastic endgame against me last time. That one I lost. The other one was basically a perfect game by both sides, where it was a draw at the end. It should have been a draw, forced draw. Queen g3, f6, bishop takes c7 just wins a piece, dude. Still very unclear. That's not unclear, I'm just down a piece. Blue Crow just pointed out like a forced win, and he didn't pay attention to the chat. Maybe he's not even in the chat, I don't know. But apparently he doesn't speak algebraic notation. That was a really nasty spoiler, Fukro. I'm so lucky. This is the maneuver I wanted to make anyway. Like, he plays queen d4. He used 0 seconds for that move. Okay, I guess it was safe to assume he knew what I was going to play there. It's so, like, systematic style. Alright. Feels like a machine. Honestly. Really does. I need some space here. It feels like playing a computer that's not quite on maximum level. You know, it's just like, it's playing you like on easy mode or something. It's just kind of toying with you. It's like Stockfish level 7 instead of level 8, basically. So, very little for black to do here. I mean, I've played a lot of computers before. This feels like a computer. You couldn't prove it beyond a doubt, though. As I said, it hasn't played perfectly. It's kind of toying with me. Let's try to go back here. Insta move, like using 0 time. Like it knew I was going to play king g8 before it played h4. Yeah, this is almost certainly an engine. Let's try to play e5, h6, d5. Maybe I can defend with the queen laterally. It's just too methodical, dude. This is probably not a human. Too geometric, you know, everything that it does. I don't think I'm going to play this player anymore after this game. And its speed is just ridiculous. Like f4, insta move. I have no counterplay. Alright, is there any kind of mistake here? The insta pre-moves like h4, h5, h6. This is almost certainly an engine, dude. I mean, I'm pretty convinced after this game. Totally feels like an engine. Plays like a computer. 100%. Alright. But it's not playing perfectly. You know, he's not trying to kill me playing perfect moves, which, you know, you could easily do with a computer. Like, it's very easy to beat me with an engine. Bishop d5, queen f5 check. I don't know what to do. This looks pretty hopeless. Another like insta move. It didn't even think, you know, like what is that? Made in one. Yeah, okay, dude. Alright, dude, I think that's enough. That'll be the last time for this guy. The joke is over. At least I managed to draw it once. But I'm definitely gonna report it now. I mean, I think this is definitely an engine. I wasn't that positive, but now it's like a joke, dude. I don't know. You know, if he comes and tells me he's like Lance or something, I don't know, man. Computer says I was okay, but I was so terrified. I guess this game isn't even good enough to prove it's a computer. The end of the game, apparently I had a saving move here. Like F4. What? F4. I could have played Bishop D7. I'm just so intimidated thinking this is a computer. I can't even play normally. Wow. The speed is unbelievable. It didn't play perfectly. I mean, I'm aware of that. But I don't know, man. I can't even bother reporting it because you can't prove that it's a computer. Just a feeling thing. I don't know. Alright, guys. Next game, Monkey Pushing Wood. Unless we've got a subscriber who wants to play. If you play your games, if commented they're live 200, 300 under your rating. Chess Boost says I don't think he's cheating. I don't know, man. I think it's possible that it's either an extremely strong player or the speed is the thing that disturbed me the most. You know, like how quickly he played certain moves, other than others. But we'll see. The analysis engine said we both made a lot of mistakes. It's kind of weird. He missed the forced win with Bishop Queen G3. That's the thing that made the, you know, like sky high. Basically, the sky high center pawn loss for both sides, as Blue Crow pointed out. White could have just won a piece with Queen G3. So whatever it is, human or not, they're not trying to, you know, crush me with perfect play. It's still possible to not play perfectly and cheat. Of course it is. It's the best way to cheat, man. You're an idiot if you play the best moves. You'll be kicked out of lichess like immediately. The whole secret to cheating is not getting caught, right? B3, Monkey Pushing Wood. So he actually has a way of protecting both C3 and F4. No, I mean, this player like purposely like play the opening inaccurately, and but it doesn't make blunders. You know, that's the defining thing about the cheaters online. I think the most important factor is that they never make blunders. He'll never make a losing move. That's the sign that something's not right. You know. If you play 10 games with a player who never ever makes a losing move, and you're around the same rating or something, I mean, that's a pretty bad sign. You know, this guy didn't play perfectly, but did you see Sport? He said he plays with touchpad. He played H4 was like a pre-move. I mean, he changed his country from Sweden to Russia in the first moment. It's just a totally sketchy account. I just am not going to accept their challenges anymore. I won't bother to report them as a computer because it's not enough evidence, but the feeling I get, I can't even play against that account normally. I wouldn't even bother playing them another game. It plays like a computer, that's all I can say. It has a computery style, a very computery style. Just not letting the computer play perfect moves. Not to get, you know, not so I can't prove it's a computer. He has 2,500 in training rating. What does that mean? Well, not too many humans can do that. I don't know too many humans, even grandmasters. Don't dwell on it. No, I'm not going to dwell on it, but, you know, I don't want to falsely accuse people of being computers. I just want to be, I want to be sure in my mind, you know, that I'm not falsely accusing someone. So anyway, bishop a6, someone who just gets their kicks out of it, but something about the style, man. I've been playing computers since I was a little kid, and they've evolved over the years. A3 insta move. Monkey must be a computer because he insta moved A3. Not quite. I don't know why I'm hesitating here. I mean, I just want a piece. Luckily. Or did I? I did. Tricks only got 2,900 on lichess training. How do you do that? My like, that's crazy. Well, I mean, you're talking about an account that like is barely even established. He has like 100 games, and super suspicious. You know, I don't care anyway. I'm done with it. I'm just not gonna play that account anymore. I can't even play normally against him. I've been in that situation before. Nice try by Monkey Pushing Wood here. He's basically getting some threats against my king side with these two bishops on the long diagonals. Only move. He's got 2 pawns for a piece. This is nowhere near enough. But he does have queen c3. Another attempt to mess with me on the long diagonal. Actually, this could be dangerous. And the other thing about the guy is that he doesn't talk in the chat at all. It's like the 3rd time he's played me. You know, I don't think he's even in the chat because he didn't even see Plucro suggesting like the forced win with queen g3. Guys, we're streaming for another half an hour today. I'm going to get to like 2 more challenges after this. Monkey Pushing Wood, why not queen c3? He played h4, also a good idea. Giving me a little time. Giving me a little time to maybe save myself here, for that matter. Though still he has queen c3. If I have to, I'll play f6. But I mean, let's forget about the cheating thing. Alright, White has some counterplay now. e5. Oh no, I have rook c8. This is actually best. Fortunately, I have knight e5. So, Monkey Pushing Wood, a little too coffee house here. Fortunately, ending his what should I say, his career on the long diagonal. Every 3 days I get rating points. I don't get my rating points back, man. That's the problem. They don't give me mine back anymore. Monkey Pushing Wood, pretty normal setup, but I think you need to play a3. Now here you played b3. a3 is the main move, and like our last opponent, Meowsy, who may or may not be a real player, queen e2 was also played a little too early, I think. I mean, I don't know. I don't really see why White needs to play queen e2 quite so early, but I guess it's not bad. Anyway, b3. b3 is unusual. You can go ahead and play a3, stopping knight to b4, you know. And then the plan is e4. This is a totally normal Kali system. a3, c takes d4, e takes d4. If you want to be a chicken, you can play c takes d4, e takes d4, And this is probably a book position. Actually, I'm surprised. Not too many games here. Well, Queen E2. Queen E2 is pretty rare, actually. It's kind of like a London system, but it's a Kali system where the bishop's not out on F4. Okay, Super Sebi. Any other challengers from? Okay, Clash Kid is a subscriber, so we're gonna accept his challenge. Cheat happens. Yeah. Well, I mean, B3. I'd like to mix it up a little bit here. I don't play a lot of B3. The last time I did, I lost to some German IM. That was about, I can't believe it was like 10 years ago. I had quite a hiatus from playing tournaments between maybe like 2010 and 2015. For like 6 years, I hardly played any tournaments at all. It is possible to take bishop takes f6 if you want to. So we're going to transpose to a King's Indian, like possibly a double fianchetto English or a King's Indian. But he plays b6 himself now. Now it's a symmetrical. I'm sort of disappointed to see that. It's not as dynamic. I like to see like the King's Indian and d6, and we can play a kind of interesting system that Kramnik plays with d4, b3, bishop b2. But this one I don't like as much. I'm not a big fan of the double fianchetto. It's kind of too symmetrical. I feel like it's hard to get a kind of dynamic game when it's so symmetrical. Coffee house, like unsound attacking play. That's how the amateur players play it in the coffee house. So what's up here? I feel like d4 actually. Maybe I blink first if I play d4. Black gets the upper hand. He could even play knight e4. That might transpose to some known line. But d4, pawn takes d4, knight takes d4, bishop takes g2. Looks like nothing for white, actually. It's a good question as to what the best move is here. Maybe knight c3. But as I said, I think this is just too symmetrical. I would rather be black, where I was black and like I felt like I was achieving something by equalizing. As white, I feel like I'm a failure here. I just don't have an advantage with the white pieces. With black, I would feel like I achieved equality. I did something positive. He played e6 though. That's a normal Reti move, but it feels like a slightly weakening move at the same time. So, you know, maybe now this is a little bit more interesting. Black and felt like I was achieving something by equalizing. Exactly, that's what I said. I love you just for the fact you're not playing blitz and not playing 30 games at a time. Fubnub. That's what the way chess is supposed to be. Chess was not meant to be 1 minute chess, man. And there will never be high stakes 1 minute chess tournaments. Sorry guys, all you 3,000 1 minute players. Got bad news. There will never be a high stakes 1 minute chess tournament. This is still equal. I have to admit, Clash Kid equalizes here as well. Man. I mean, the one move e6 you'd think would give me a little something. But it's just nothing to do. Just nothing to do. e3, pawn takes pawn, queen f3, and then maybe I have some tricks. I don't think so. I think I have to play this. And this is just nothing. My king is more exposed than his king. You know, he's made one like extra pawn move with e6, but this is so sick. I hate symmetry. I really, really hate symmetry, and nothing I can do here. Super boring game. We've got one more game after this, guys, for the stream. Knight takes d5, queen takes d5, f3. And it feels like black is even better after that. Feels like black took the initiative somehow. Yeah, because I don't have a good square to put my queen. Knight takes, queen takes, f3, rook d8, and no good place to put my queen. No knight moves, no nothing. We've got to be careful here that I'm not worse. Knight takes d5 develops that piece for him. So I guess we have to change our mindset a little bit and start thinking about, you know, equalizing. Rook c1 is tempting. Just a total opening failure. Oh man. Queen d3? Strange idea. It's a strange idea to play for queen f3. Queen d3. Idea queen f3. Okay, queen d2 may be the safest move of all. Queen d2. If e5, knight f3. Can't get rid of that arrow on the board. Okay. Black and... I love the fact that I'm playing classical games instead of bullet. It's just so much a waste of time. Unfortunately here, I'm going to have to be careful. There's e4. Queen takes e4, f3. It's a good way to lose a pawn. I just thought maybe there's some sort of trick, but apparently not. Knight c6, rook d1. I feel lucky not to be worse. Rook d8. Queen b2. Now rook d8, rook d1. Rook d8, rook d1 is forced, and I've got the idea of probably rook fd1 or rook ad1, I don't know. So evacuate the queen position with queen b2, and maybe I can draw. Clash Kid played perfectly. He won the last game. What was that, a simul game? Forgot, man. It was the simul game last week. Yeah, it was a good game. He was equal, but I got in time pressure and decimated my own position, losing a very clear endgame and just resigning. He was going to have two connected pass pawns in the simul game. Guys, I have a simul on Sundays. It's 5 p.m. Eastern Time against usually 25 players here on lichess. Please subscribe to the channel. We've got a YouTube channel, video chess training on YouTube. Now here he played an interesting move, knight c6. I expected rook d8. I can play knight takes c6, queen takes d2. And then knight e7 check, king h8, bishop takes d2. Bishop takes a1, rook takes a1. With a complicated situation. My knight might get trapped, but I don't see it. So I think he just should take on c6 with an equal game. Actually, I'm being kind of stupid. I shouldn't play knight e7 check. I mean, if queen takes d2, I just take and leave my knight on c6. It's a much better square, and I'm just winning. No, he has to take on c6. I think that he made a mistake. I mean, he should just play rook d8. You know, he's probably better after rook d8. Unless I missed a tactic or something. Rook d8, rook d1, and then knight c6. And actually, I'm really lucky if I'm not losing there. Rook d8, rook d1, no. Never mind. Rook d8, rook d1, knight c6, knight takes c6. Never mind. Rook d8, rook d1, I'm okay. I'm probably just barely okay after he moves his queen somewhere. You know, come to think of it, yeah, b7 probably. Rook d8, rook d1, queen b7, queen b2, and then, like, he can play knight c6 with equality. Maybe he just saved us both time. What if I play for a win here? Is this realistic? It does look like I'm a tiny bit better now. You know, I wouldn't agree to a draw in this position. Unless my opponent was like a really strong player. There's nothing to lose here for white. You know, there's just no risk of losing. Now his king is actually, you know, arguably weaker than my king. But I may just not have enough here, realistically. Queen d4 check. We can try. Try a little. One more game after this. There is h4, h5 if I had time. You know, that would be a very important idea. Unfortunately, we don't really have time. How much time do we have here? If I play h4, he'll probably play h5 himself. It's objectively a draw, but black has to just be a little careful in this position. Here's a boring fact for chess players historically decimated. Never mind. What's up, guys? Check out the YouTube channel. Subscribe and like and share. Share my videos with your friends. He played queen a6 with the double attack. That wasn't part of the plan. So rook c2 looks like the right idea. We don't, you know, want to see these falling. And I've got control of the open file. And we've got threats of like h4, h5, h6, possibly. And he doesn't want to give up 2 rooks for the queen. So I think that black has some kind of infinitesimal disadvantage here. It's not much. Should be a draw. Wow, he just played the ultra crazy e5. Pretty neat tactical idea. Doesn't work. So he just gave me a pawn, panic mode. Queen takes e5. He forgot I can play queen b2 and double defend this guy. You see, guys, normal chess players make mistakes. Clash Kid is strong, he's talented, but he makes mistakes. And most human beings make mistakes. But when you play a player who over and over again never makes a serious mistake, that's a bad sign that you might not be playing a human being. Queen takes e5, queen b2. I've lost to Clash Kid, as you can see, numerous times. But he is human. Now things are interesting. This is not a walk in the park. Heavy piece ending with 4 against 3 on the king side. So he can lose this pawn and still have reasonable drawing chances here. He's got backward pressure against my pawn on e2. Just because I won a pawn doesn't mean that this game is going to be an easy win at all. Or a win, even a forced win. I'm not sure that this is a winning position for white. I mean, by any stretch of the imagination. It's really tough. Keep that in mind anytime you have a heavy piece ending. What you want, you know, if you're down a pawn, you want the extra pawn to be on the king side, not on the queen side. On the queen side, then I can create a passed pawn. This is a typical situation where it's actually very hard to win because my extra pawn is a kingside protector, basically. Okay. Centralization is the most important thing in the world, in heavy piece endings in particular. So I know that he's looking at queen h5. That's all fine and good. We'll play either king g2 or maybe h4, but h4 is kind of weakening. I can't take on e3. He has other moves, tons of moves. Of course, he can just retreat his rook, or even play queen e5 and trade queens. But I don't think he should trade queens. You know, I think that's probably giving me better winning chances. Major question here whether I should play e4. Probably I should. Although it could be dangerous. I'm controlling these open files, and his only break is f5, which would just endanger his own king. So I think that queen h5 move was probably better for Clash Kid there. Queen h5, king g2, and then he's maintaining this blockade of my e-pawn. He played h5, which is interesting. Here I can play queen f6, keep him tied down, maybe. There, though. Yeah, maybe I should just play h4. Just don't let him get in on these white squares somehow. I mean, f5 would be allowing a trade of queens with queen d5 check. Too dangerous. What's your opinion on us women? On the U.S. women champ not participating in the World Championship? I don't know the story. Which one? Are you talking about an old story where, like, whatever her name was, didn't want to go to Iran? This isn't a new thing, right? My opinion is my opinion, you know, that it was, like, kind of childish and unnecessary. You know, if the country has their tradition, they have a tradition. It's not that big a deal. You don't need to make a protest about it. Just go and play, you know. But that's my opinion. I respect her opinion. You know, she can do what she wants, but I think it's sort of silly. Queen b5. Just hanging out. How do we make progress here? I don't know. I don't know. Alright. Trading a set of rooks would be nice. How can I do that? Staying centralized. Queen d5. Do I even have a plan with this move? No, I think it was just, I don't know. Just a protest to kind of make, like, some publicity. But rook c6. The cheapo in the house. Trying to generate some threats. Queen d4. Wait a second, I have rook takes g6 check. And then what? Problem is all my stuff is hanging. Rook takes g6 check. And then what? King f8. Yeah, I don't see it. I saw king f8 and no move there. Triple with triples. Star Trek. Tried to triple. Looks like the best shot to trade pieces here. Okay, Clash Kid is self-proclaimed not a blitz player. You know, he should have not lost a pawn. But even after that, it was still complicated. I think that this is a key moment here, where he releases this situation. You know, maybe Queen H5. Does this not work? The computer just says H4. No big deal. The engine actually said Queen G5, so I thought he shouldn't pull his rook back there. Be a better defensive chance. But in any case, was a good position. Totally okay for black. Opening was actually better for black. If you look here, he's like plus half a pawn. If he plays rook d8, now it's changing his mind. Okay, maybe I'm equal. But at best, I'm equal here. Best case scenario. Rook d8, rook d1. Yeah, and this is the much more accurate way for Clash Kid to play this. Now Queen c5, it says. I have to play Queen b2 and then Knight c6. This way he doesn't lose control of the open file the way that he did in the game. No, for example, Knight takes c6. Okay, that wins for white. I have to go here. And then bishop takes c3. This is a draw. Probably a draw. So, a couple of inaccuracies. I think he has a good idea, just needs to be a little bit faster, a little more accurate. I don't know, man. I mean, it just seems silly for me to get the opportunity to be like, you know, playing in the World's Women's Championship and then make a big deal about a protest and lose your opportunity to play in that tournament. I don't know. That's my opinion. But moving on to our last game for today, Super Sebi, Galunid, Constant Change, Nefedov, Ayeste. If none of you guys are subscribers, we don't have any new subscribers. Yeah, e5 was bad. You missed Queen b2. Even after that, you have great drawing chances. Of course, heavy piece ending. Super Sebi's last game for today, guys. Sorry to those of you that didn't get to play. Come back next time on Friday. We're going to be playing Blitz and Classical Chess again. Crawler says their opinion. You saying she was 100% correct to refuse? That's my opinion, man. I'm oversimplifying the issue. I was asked for my opinion, not the truth. You know, these are different things. I don't know everything, the absolute truth about what's right and wrong, but some people apparently do. You know, that's a surprising thing. Some people know absolute right and wrong. I never had that ability, but you know, go to any like internet political forum, and you'll find lots of people who know everything about everything. But this is not the issue here. I don't want to get into politics. I think it's silly for a first-time U.S. champion to make a big scandal, you know, and lose their opportunity to play in a world championship tournament. Seems very, very petty to me. Knight takes d4. But maybe she had other possibilities in mind. Knight takes d4, and main line. This is actually probably the most critical line in the entire symmetrical English. It's objectively equal if black plays perfectly. Chess is easier. I don't know, you know, what's perfect here either. For me, it's all the same, man. I just make an informed guess and hope that I'm right. But I definitely don't know the absolute truth about chess either. Knight takes d4. I think that, you know, chess should be about chess and not about politics. That's my opinion. Knight takes d4, queen takes d4. Real Elden Music, welcome. We're just finishing the stream. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be back on Wednesday. Rook e8 now. This is a new one for me. It's not a terrible move, but it's actually kind of a passive position for the rook on e8. Typically, this rook isn't going to see a lot of action. It's like a defensive square where it protects e7 in this accelerated dragon or whatever you want to call it. I think this move just kind of gives me a free hand. Gives me a free hand, a free tempo, you might say. We could consider a number of aggressive options. I'm not afraid of e5. That's a positional catastrophe, and that's why we doubt rook e8 is a good move. The rook will have no active value there. The best moves are d6 and d6. I have seen one guy who I suspected of being a computer played queen a5 against me in a game here, which apparently is playable. Other than that, I don't really know any other good moves for black. Rook e8 is a neutral move. Okay, but let's try queen h4. Something interesting. Trying to exploit this rook move. I mean, if this is a wasted tempo, maybe we can play a long-winded plan that we wouldn't normally be able to get away with. Queen h4 actually runs into d6, bishop e6, excuse me, d6, bishop e6. I've seen this happen. Rook c8 and rook c5, and the rook actually comes across and like harasses the queen. This is actually a key defensive idea when white tries to do like queen h4 in the main lines of this. So now I guess bishop h6 or bishop g5 are both interesting. I don't know which is better. Bishop h6 trading off that powerful bishop, but kind of releases the tension a little bit. I'm not sure this exchange is all that bad for black. And you see a lot of people go bishop h8. I used to do that too, Super Sebi, but you know, the older I get and the wiser I get, and the more I start to forget stuff, actually I'm normally not doing that. You know, I think that's good in super sharp positions like the mainline dragon, where you're like castled opposite wings and both sides are just going for mate, maybe sacking in exchange with bishop takes f8 or something. But I've found actually that oftentimes this just creates like attacking chances for white more often than not. Bishop f3 is interesting here. Alright, I'll play h3, and then I have g4 sometimes if he tries to play like rook c5, rook h5 like I was talking about. But who knows, maybe bishop h8 is not bad in this position. Maybe it's not bad. Let me guess, another, like the only move is d6. S-table, or yeah, it's like basically the only move. Unless you're the engine that played queen a5 against me. But that move, you know, black's going to have to play. He's going to have to play d6 anyway at some point. This is just a disaster. You know, e5 is a disaster, not only for the bishop on h8, but for the pawn on d6. And also for this pin here. I can play bishop g5, and he's in this permanent pin. Practically impossible to get out of the pin on the f6 knight now. And so we just pile up the pressure. Luckily for him, I don't have like rook e6, bishop h3, but we have other good stuff. Like rook e6, knight d5, and just the beat goes on, right? The beat goes on. Should I play knight e4? Actually, knight e4 is better than knight d5. I think because it doesn't interfere with our plan of maybe putting pressure on the d file. He's just tied in knots here, and e5 was like a strategically losing move. U.S. women's champ not playing in a tournament, Iran. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. It's old news. Old news from last year. Somebody brought it up. Okay, so h6, how does that work? I can just play queen takes and then, okay, I see. So he can break the pin. Actually, makes a lot of sense. Maybe I have bishop takes h6 followed by knight g5 now. Because his knight is still pinned. We have another idea, which I've used a lot in the King's Indian Kavalek system, where like in the black side of the King's Indian, on the black side of the King's Indian, I'll play against the fianchetto variation with black. The Kavalek is like d6, c6, queen a5. Your queen is going from a5 to h5 on the open rank, and these kind of probing piece maneuvers are very typical. Super Sebi played bishop b7, which makes some sense because if bishop g5 now he can play bishop c6 and trade off my guy. But I have knight g5. I don't know which is best here. Knight g5. No easy way to put him away. So I'm just not sure, you know, honestly, what the best move is. Oh man, I don't know. Alright. He's going to trade off the knight on e4. I don't know what I can do to avoid it, though, honestly. I'm just a clear pawn up. This felt awkward, like knight g5. And what do I do next? You know, it looks nice. But bishop takes b7, rook b8, rook takes b2. I'm not winning a pawn there. And it just seems like better to just keep it simple. Focus on keeping our advantage. We have no forced win, though. Maybe rook f d1. That is not what I intended to play. That is a classic lichess mouse slip. But it should give him a fighting chance. This is the stupidest move ever. I clicked e1 and then clicked my rook. Oh, I so didn't mean to click e1. But it'll give you a chance, Sebi. This will give you a chance. He proposed the take back. Thank you. Alright. I was actually... The problem is I was debating on the other rook. At the last minute, I was going to change rooks from rook a to rook f to keep my a pawn protected. And so that's how it ended up happening. Just as I reached for the f rook, I just clicked on the line and it gave me credit for clicking e1. Rook a1 is awesome. Very hyper modern. Thanks for the take back. It's yeah, I mean he's trading this off, and this actually gives him some chances to survive. You know, something like queen b6 here with the double attack. I mean, I can give up my white squared bishop, take with the queen. So queen b6, b3, I guess, and we've just got a clear pawn up with a safer king, and I hope that I don't regret moving my f rook because he's attacking f2. For some reason, I doubt that's going to be relevant. He doesn't really want to trade pieces either here. So I don't know. It's not pretty. I mean, e5 is like a losing move strategically. This is bad. He should have tried something like bishop d7, rook c8. Actually, he can't. Yeah, he can do it because bishop d7 takes rook b8. Yeah, bishop d7, bishop c6, or bishop d7, rook b8, a6, b5. I don't think his position was that bad. Yeah, queen b6. Now, I can play b3. I can also play rook d2. Kind of an interesting move. Nick DeFermian famously told me, yeah, let's be careful of the long diagonal too. Nick DeFermian famously said to me, pawns should protect pieces. I mean, pawns should protect pawns, not pieces should protect pawns. One of the simplest things that a grandmaster ever said to me. But it, you know, it interestingly gives us a sense of how he thinks. That's why, you know, I want to protect pawns with pawns. Rook d2 is a good move to try to double up, but I'm going to have to play b3 at some point anyway. We're just winning. The d5 square, it's like a Sicilian. And he's down a pawn on the king side. Backward. That is a straight line. You guys got to admit the new mouse is sweet. Okay, rook d3 would be kind of a massive blunder. I mean, allowing like f5, e4 with tempo. Probably my safest bet here is like rook to c1. And not even allowing that thought of him, you know, taking off a rook on a1. I can also play bishop back to e3 at some point. So f5 with a little bit of counterplay for black, but not much. Guys, thanks for joining me today. We're going to take off after this, and I'll be back on Friday with more Blitz and Classical Chess. Again, check out the YouTube channel, please, and subscribe here. Video chess training on YouTube. Share my videos with your friends. We've got simul's on Sunday here on lichess, 5 p.m. on Sunday. Shirt is not on straight. Stephen Vigil. You know, it's funny. I was just thinking about that my shirt wasn't on straight, and you're talking about my shirt. But it's always the mirror. I don't know which side I'm straightening. I had no idea you were going to say that. That's so weird. He offered a draw. He proposes a take back. I don't know whether to take the draw or the take back. I'll give you the take back. I didn't think it was a bad move. I mean, okay, you don't want to block your bishop. You probably intended to play king h7, not king g7. I'm going to guess. I mean, I guess it doesn't lose. Like king g7, it's... He offered a draw. No draw. But I will give you a take back. Maybe he didn't mean to do either. Maybe he meant to click resign. It's a very unpleasant position with no time. He played bishop g7. Okay, we're winning. It's a matter of technique, as they say. I don't know what to play, honestly. Improve the king. We could possibly even attack black down the h-file if we play h4, h5. Speak of the devil. The h-file. Do you like the h-file? I like the h-file too. It's my new friend. My new favorite place, but this is just a simple endgame. Now he has to play rook b6 or rook b8. Just disaster. Or that. That's actually a move. But I think at the end of the day, I'm still winning. Rook a6, good try, man. Maybe you can play b6 there, as ugly as that is. I mean, I don't know. It's probably lost, but at least you saved the pawn. Looks like the best try. Because 2 pawns down is just toastville. 3 pawns down. Yeah, analysis board. Just at the end. I'm just curious, was that the best move? Rook a6, rook b6? Yeah, b6 I would guess. Rook b8. Ah, it's terrible. Okay, a4 and your rook is like out of the game forever. It's hopeless, man. Bad move in the opening. Rook e8. This is a huge mistake, believe it or not. Theoretical novelty. And the best move according to the engine is queen h4. Wow, I'm proud of myself. Changed its mind. That was just its first glance. c5 is possible. Queen d2. Queen d2 is a weird move. I like queen h4. But anyway, you should still play d6. That's what you did, right? Oh, this transposes some theory. Wow, that's interesting. So people played like Queen H4 and Black played Rook E8, which is probably not right. Bishop H6. And we've actually transposed to a sort of line. Not great players, but one game. Abergel, isn't he like a GM now? We're slightly better here. This is just better for white. Pascal Chomet against Tal Abergel. Alright guys, we'll be back on Friday. Thanks for joining me. Please subscribe to the channel. Got no new subscriptions today. What's up? Guys, don't forget the YouTube channel, Video Chess Training on YouTube. I'm also doing a simul on Sundays. Subscribe to the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel. Alright, you're welcome for the stream. Improving just by watching, you know, that's awesome. That's the point. It's not about bullet chess. We're just trying to play some real chess and get better. I hope I can help you guys reach that improvement. So we'll be back on Friday. I will see you then. And the stream also helps me, guys. You know, it helps me to stay in shape when I'm not playing in tournaments. So I appreciate it too. Thank you, Blue Crow, for being here and moderating. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.